Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. Anais Nin. I really, really like this one. This one reminds me of, you remember the live action Cinderella that came out a few years ago?
Mm-hmm.
The tagline of that movie is have courage and be kind.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've always lived by that sort of a motto, but no one has really put it into words before until then.
It helps.
Yeah, it does help. So thank you, Kenneth Branagh.
Thanks, Kenneth Branagh.
Anyway, hello.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of
Positivity,
the weekly podcast where we bring you good vibes by the spoonful.
Yeah.
I am your host, Miss Mary Lou Ryan.
I'm your host, Jacob Kahn.
And together we're here to bring you some seriously good feels.
I want to put some smiles on your faces.
Yeah. Because, like, doing this puts smiles on our faces.
And spread the smiles.
So, brief disclaimer. They're doing construction on our street, and there is absolutely nothing we can do about it.
Like
so,
10 feet to our right.
Yeah, like, a mini self-care day goal is to try to not allow it to annoy the crap out of me.
Okay, how you doing?
I'm, like, at a simmer right now.
Oh, shoot.
Like a scald. I would say I'm at a scald.
All right.
Like when you put milk on the stove and there's just little bubbles along the outside, but it's not really boiling yet.
This tea is not too hot. Have some of this tea. Help it cool you down.
True. All right, Jacob, what is the tea you're drinking today?
I'm drinking Earl Grey de la Creme from Trader Joe's, because that's what they call it.
Yeah, okay, so fun fact, Trader Joe's has exactly 2 loose teas, at least at our location.
Right, and one of them is a green tea, which
It's like green tea and lemon, which is 2 things
you're
like
not into.
No. Mm-mm.
But this Earl Grey, though, it's pretty good.
I'm actually really pleasantly surprised.
Yeah?
The look of the tea, the leaves are a decent size.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a good looking brew. And then it actually is really good. It has a little bit more like of the creme-ness than I like anticipated, but I'm actually surprised that a tea from Trader Joe's can taste like this.
You know what it kind of tastes like to me? You know the Andes mints?
Mm-hmm.
If you took like an Andes mint and melted it into some Earl Grey, I feel like it would taste similar to this.
Really?
Yeah, it has
Oh.
like that cream, that mint cream.
I
sort
mean,
of
like,
flavor.
I really disagree, but I enjoy the sentiment because I love Andes.
We
mints.
should try melting Andes mints into other Earl Greys and do a side by side with this. Anyway,
True. Andes mints make me feel very sick.
you're right. We shouldn't do that.
I mean, you can do it. Let
I
me
said
know how it goes.
we should, but I meant we shouldn't.
I'll be here like cheerleading you from the lactose intolerant squad sidelines.
Uh-huh.
I'm actually drinking the same tea today. If you remember from last week, I woke up to surprise brunch. I guess Jacob wants to make like pre-podcast brunch a thing.
Brunch and podcasts.
Brunch and then podcast. Yeah, I had pancakes again, and he made a whole big pot of tea.
Brunchcast.
Brunchcast. The Brunchcast. That's not what this podcast
No,
is called.
it's not.
I also an equally good name, though. I think ours is pretty good, though.
What puts you in a better mood than brunch?
Tea.
Okay, you're right.
Tea is a part of
But
brunch for me.
tea's, so we're winning on all accounts.
I guess we are.
Yeah.
You're a smart one.
Mm-hmm. So you have your mini self-care experiment for today where you're trying to not get above a simmer about this construction. What about, so last week your self-care project was trying not to overdo it. And you said last week that you actually thought you didn't make it as far with that as you would have liked. But how about the week since? How have you been doing?
Yeah, so I have been giving this like a lot of thought this past week. I just really did not listen to my body last week. Did not give it the time to rest it needed. I did too much and it was not pleasant. This week, I think I succeeded a bit more. Like, I have really been more thoughtful when it comes to what activities I'm doing. That way, I'm not overdoing it in one direction or the other. So I've been more thoughtful about it. And if someone wants to come over and I need to break in the middle of it, I'm not afraid to be like, hey, do you mind if I just like lie down for a little bit?
I think I've noticed that you've scheduled less this week and you've given yourself more time to take breaks, and I think that's been good, right?
Yeah, yeah, totally. So I think I've definitely done much better.
Yeah.
Well, how about you? Last week you talked about how you were practicing obsessive positivity.
Mm-hmm.
So how has that been going for you this week?
It's okay. It's not a perfect plan. It's worked on a few occasions where I've had panic attacks. It has helped. But I have also had some situations where I just feel like I can't get there mentally, where there's something else that's stronger going on in my brain. So I'm still working on that one, but it's nice to have as a possibility, as a tool that I can access. It's not a perfect plan by any
Well,
means.
yeah, and I mean, we talked about this a bit last week as well. Like your habit building, you're trying to
Yeah.
rewire the way that your brain responds in certain situations, and it's not going to be perfect. It probably never will be, but it's you're just making a tool in your toolbox of life a little stronger, you
Yeah.
know?
Sharpening a tool.
You're
So.
sharpening it, making it the good and stuff.
Yeah. Well, so how about this week? What has been your self-care experiment for this week?
So this week, self-care experiment was kind of born out of last week a
Mm-hmm.
bit. This week specifically, I was focusing on take the time you need.
Oh.
And this has a bunch of different branches and inspiration, and it is about balance, but for me, when I overdo it, I usually overdo it in the overworking too many things direction of stuff.
Right.
I'm very type A personality. I'm a recovering perfectionist. I'm a workaholic. And I mean, like, I'm not saying these like they're bad things. They're just things that have been a part of my life that I have observed and noticed and I'm going to try to balance out and dial back a couple notches in some regards. So take the time you need focuses more on the stillness, more on the self-reflection, on resting, on like the downtime involved in
Oh,
living a
okay.
more balanced life and taking the time you need and not judging it because like I do this thing. I don't mean to. It just happens where say I feel really crappy and I just feel like I need to stay in bed or I need to just lay on the couch and relax. There's always a part of my brain that's like, well, shouldn't you be working on something? You could always be working on something. You need to be furthering your career. You need to be editing. You should be shooting. You should be brainstorming. You should. And I'm sick of it. So I've really been trying in those needed times of stillness. I have been trying to really quiet that part of my brain and to
Yeah.
just take the time that I need without incorporating guilt into the mix because, oh boy, does my brain love to throw that into the mix.
Sure.
And it can be really hard for me to just be still and just do nothing without feeling bad about it, which is awful because someone that's A, recovering from surgery, and B, suffers with many, 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 many chronic illnesses. Like, like the last few days and today, I'm not feeling that well. But I know that doing this brings me joy. I am going to feel really tired. Doing the podcast is really exhausting for me after the fact. I really feel it.
But you left time for it.
Exactly. I left time for it. And more importantly, it's like I schedule the time to do the thing. And then I also schedule the time to recover from the thing. So that's been my week. Taking the time
Cool.
that I need and making it a judgment-free relaxation zone.
That's good.
Yeah. How about you? How about what self-care experiment did you do with yourself this week?
I feel like what I've been thinking about and what I'm going to talk about now is almost an opposite to what you were just talking about,
Okay, please go for
which
it.
is interesting. The phrase that I'm going with to think about this is lighting a fire, which I'm not literally lighting a fire. I just want a disclaimer. I'm in California. I'm not. The only fires I light are electronic ones on YouTube.
True.
Like we have this
On the
fake
TV.
fireplace behind us on a TV, or the occasional tea light. But no, I metaphorically, so doing things, some people might call this adulting.
I
When
hate
it's,
that term.
so the metaphor being that it's cold and a fire needs to be lit, and fires are hard to light, but fires need to be lit. So I'm going to go light the fire, even if it's a pain, and even if I don't want to do it, and I think it's going to be unpleasant to do. The reality is it's going to be much more unpleasant for everybody, myself included, if that fire does not get lit. So I've been trying to really just focus on doing the things that need to be done and not allowing myself to dwell in the thoughts of, oh, well, that's going to be difficult. That's going to be exhausting, and you don't really have to do that right now. You can put it off. Simple things too, like turning the lights on when I get up, making the bed, doing the dishes.
So you need someone to like rev up the lawnmower to like pull the string that goes, and then you just like, and once the lawnmower's going, I'm a voice actor. That was like a little
That was good.
mini sound
That was a
effects
good
thing.
lawnmower there.
Thank you. Yeah.
Getting things done.
Yeah.
Just making sure that the things that are in need of doing are done, even if I don't want to. And it's been better for me to feel like I'm jumping on those things and actually getting them out of the way than sitting and thinking about the fact that they're not done and I don't want to do them. And then they just kind of pile up, and then there's more and more and more, and then the actual process at that point of doing them becomes way harder because I'm nowhere near being finished, once I actually do begin to do those things. Because again, these are things that need to be done.
Yeah. So how's that been going for you
I
this
think
week?
pretty well.
Good.
I've managed to keep all of the dishes clean. I don't know if you've noticed,
I
but
have noticed.
like dishes generally pile up when I cook because I cook a lot and I'm a messy cook.
Yeah, and there are two things that are just perpetual things that never stop: laundry and dishes.
Right. Oh, and yeah, and also laundry. I've been doing laundry like crazy lately in smaller batches, which helps a lot. It's a lot less work because it's less clothes.
Yeah.
And even though you're doing it more often, it just becomes more of a routine and less of a project.
Yeah, we've come up with like a little routine as well. Like we'll do laundry and watch Game of Thrones.
It's the best. You should try it.
Yeah, it's pretty
Pro
great.
tip.
Pro tip.
Put Game of Thrones on while you're washing your clothes.
Do you have anything that you do for yourself while you like wash the dishes or something, or?
Sometimes I'll put music on, but honestly, I'd rather just focus on doing that, get it done, and then have the clean space, both physically and in my brain, to be able to move on to something that I want to do. Just the anticipation of things that I don't want to do but have to get done.
Yeah.
That gives me a lot of anxiety. But I think that just not allowing myself to sit in that anxiety, to just attack the things and do them, has been really helpful. So.
Yeah, for sure. You know what I think that we should make as a self-care experiment collectively for this next week?
Ooh.
So this is an idea
Preview.
I just had.
Plan.
Yeah. I think for next week, in that sort of vein, we should actually try to clean up our bedroom,
Oh.
declutter our dressers and side tables and desk and stuff like that, and see if it actually makes a difference with how we feel.
I don't know if you can hear this horror that I'm sitting in right now, but our bedroom has been a cluttered mess for years.
Yeah, like our living room and our kitchen and stuff, the main living spaces are generally fairly put together.
Yeah.
But I've always had a messy bedroom ever since I was a kid.
Yeah, me too.
And I just need a functional bedroom. That's like a nice place to be. And I feel it, just all the mess and clutter. I mean, like, it's not anything extreme.
Well, we're not hoarders.
No, we're
by
not.
any
We're
means.
minimalist, pretty much.
Yeah, some things just get forgotten, and the bedroom seems to be the place where we forget things, where we put forgotten things.
Yeah, no, exactly. Or even if it's something like, oh, I ran out of a medication. I have 4 empty bottles of that medication just chilling in my nightstand for some reason because I don't know why it never got to the trash can or recycling bin.
I don't know either. Yeah.
So I think that would be a good idea for a combined self-care experiment.
I
What do
will
you
certainly
think?
try.
Yeah, we'll try to do that together.
I would love the end result of that. Again, this is my brain going, well, the process sounds really difficult.
Yeah, we'll put on
But
some Queen.
heck yeah.
We'll put on some fun stuff, or maybe even some Christmas music.
Whoa.
We'll make some tea.
That'll be our big Christmas present to each other, is cleaning the bedroom.
Cleaning the
Decluttering the
bedroom. I
bedroom.
know. Yeah, no, doing a serious declutter. Like maybe even getting rid of that desk that just has crap of forgetfulness land on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, team.
All right,
Let's
we'll
try
shake
that.
on it.
We'll shake on
shake
it?
hands on it.
Okay, cool.
Shaking hands on the radio translates really well.
It does. It really does. If you're watching on YouTube, though, you can see this really awkward
It's a
handshake.
very weird
happening right
handshake,
now.
yeah. We haven't quite gripped.
No.
There we go. Yeah.
You,
And your arm's a little, there we go. You're a little closer to your body
you
than
look
mine.
like you're a velociraptor shaking my hand.
Okay, well, maybe I am. Surprise, twist.
Oh, boy. Alrighty, now it's time to move on to our next segment. Community news.
Sweet.
This is the part of the podcast where I reach out to you, the listeners, asking for good news from your week, and then we celebrate your general awesomeness here on the podcast.
Yay.
I freaking love this segment.
Me too.
Yeah, it's so great to hear from all of you. It's great to hear the positive things in your life, from big things to small things. And I mean, really, there are no small things, because the small things are really important too.
They're not small if you celebrate them.
That's true. And I have to say, y'all came through this week. There have
Ooh.
been a couple of weeks, like as we've been starting this, where I've been like really scraping to get some community news, like barely getting 3. It was so hard to pick. So, of course, if you don't hear your good community news on the podcast, please keep submitting, because I'm trying not to really like repeat people.
No.
But even if I have featured you before, please send me your good news anyway, because it brightens our days. And
Absolutely.
It's amazing. All right. So, first, we are going to Twitter. I'm at Miss Mary Lou all the places. And this is from @AnnaSpaz. They say they made their first butternut squash pie that turned out perfect.
Ooh, like a pie
Yes.
pie.
Yes.
Like you would make a pumpkin pie, but
Yes.
butternut squash. Whoa.
Whoa. I know. I was just so delighted by this, and I don't think I've ever had butternut squash pie.
Me either.
But I think I like butternut squash like maybe a little bit more than I like pumpkin.
I like eating butternut squash. I don't like eating pumpkin. The only way I can eat pumpkin is by putting massive amounts of sugar
That's
into it
true.
in a pie. I'm curious.
We should try making this.
Well, apparently it's perfect.
Well, yeah. Yo, okay, so Anna, if you are listening, can you send me the recipe on
Please do.
Twitter, please? Because I really want to try to make this. We have a pretty good gluten-free pie crust recipe.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes things take a lot of hard work to get to perfection, but you are a statistical anemone.
It's always
You're a
great
statistical anomaly.
when your experiment works out the first time. That's cool.
Yeah, so amazing. Good for you, Anna. You are a wizard.
Yeah.
Like, freaking amazing. I want to make this pie.
Like freaking Harry Potter, okay?
I know. We did just rewatch The Sorcerer's Stone again for like the 3rd time this
Sorry, I thought you were
year.
going. You were a wizard.
You are a wizard. I just love Harry Potter, and would like that's one of the highest compliments I can give to a human. You are a wizard. I don't know how you came out with a perfect pie on the first try, but
Yeah.
yo, I want some of this pie.
Me too.
That sounds amazing. And also, like as we've brought up in the past, Jacob, you did baking as a self-care experiment one week because
Yeah.
it's something that really just like nurtures your soul.
It brings you joy.
Okay. Moving on. We are headed to Facebook next. And like Facebook really was like rip roaring this week. I think I
Oh.
got like 10 responses on Facebook.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is a lot. And it's really, really hard to pick, especially because some of them are so so good. Now we're going to Liz CP on Facebook. And she says that her brother gets to go home tomorrow after being in the hospital for the last 2.5 months.
Yay.
This is wonderful
That's
news.
fantastic.
Yeah. Liz is my future sister-in-law, and I just adore her. And she had something happen with her brother that was really scary, where he was in the hospital and they weren't sure how things were going to go. And it was just like, it was a really, my heart just like even aches thinking about that time for her and her family, and especially her brother. And things are looking up.
Yeah.
Things are so looking up. This is so freaking exciting. When I heard this, I was like, I'm 125% putting this on the podcast this week.
I'm so glad that anticipation period is over, and that and that you're there, and it's good and going home, and that's so awesome.
Yeah, because that can be like some of the hardest parts. It's like after the event or whatnot, just the waiting game. Like, is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? And wow, all of us, let's send awesome vibes to Liz and her brother and her family this week, because all of them deserve it. They're beautiful, wonderful people, and I'm just so thrilled for them. So yes, send me your love for Liz. Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on the YouTube comments, on Instagram, all of that stuff. Send me all of your good vibes for Liz, and congratulations and happy stuff, and I will be sure to pass them along to her.
Yay.
Because like, how awesome is that?
It's the best.
I'm trying not to cry. It's a thing. So just incredible. That is some seriously good news.
It is. Thank you so much for sharing as well.
Absolutely, Liz.
awesome.
You're a rock star. All right. So, staying on the Facebook train, because like Facebook y'all came through. I had some on Instagram as well. But I really wanted to include this one from Kit Meyer Post.
Ooh.
And they said they got out of bed today.
Oh, heck yeah.
Shoot. Yo, I relate to this on such a deep level.
It is hard sometimes to do that.
Like even today, for example. So y'all that listen to the podcast know I am an insomniac. I struggle with this. I've been trying different kinds of meds and different things to try to make sleep easier. But my body likes to do this thing where when I wake up in the morning, I am 10 times more exhausted than I was when I went to bed the night before.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's like that full blown, if I tried to stand up, I would just fall on my face. Exhaustion, my skin feels heavy, like every bit of my body feels like I just have an extra 1,000 pounds on me, and it's a horrible feeling.
It is.
Yeah.
That's awful.
But I got out of bed today.
Heck yeah. This morning I got up and didn't get out of bed for a solid hour because I was thinking about how much I didn't want to light that fire.
But you did, Jake.
But yeah, once you do, it's so great, and wow.
Kit, you're a badass. You're like, how freaking awesome that. And it is so important to acknowledge things like this.
Also, yes.
Again, it might seem like a small thing, but the small things are what have a big impact, I think.
I think it's one of the biggest things.
Yeah, and because getting out of bed can be a struggle, especially if you have something in the day ahead that you are not looking forward to, or if you're suffering with some kind of illness or whatnot. It can just be so hard. And it's so important to acknowledge and to celebrate the everyday things that happen in your life, because they're important and they shape you as a person.
Yay!
So, Kit, thank you for sharing. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Good news, everyone! I have good news.
It's good news.
Yeah, this is the segment where we bring you a good news story, something that the media reports on that is not depressing.
Yeah, I mean, again, important to stay informed, but also important to not
dig yourself into a bad news hole.
Yeah. Oh, the drudgery. Anyway, so Jacob, you have some good news for us. what did you dig out of the depths of the interwebs for us today?
So in the spirit of the holiday season, this is a story about two friends.
Oh, two friends.
Two friends who have been sending the same Christmas card back and forth to each other for 43 years.
Oh my gosh.
All right, they both used to work in Royal Mail in the UK. Raymond Pearson sent the card originally to Steve Ford in 1975 because they had similar interests in motorcycles and films. He thought it would be nice to send him a Christmas card. Well, Steve thought it would be fun to keep the card for the whole year and the next year to give it back to him with a new note written on it as a joke to see if he remembered. And then the following year, Raymond decided he was going to do the same thing. He wrote a new note on it, he sent it back. So it just sort of became this tradition that they established where they would deliver the same card with a new note written on it, usually some kind of rhyme, some kind of silly rhyme, like, for example, the saving is mine in 79, or over to you in 92, or something silly like that. But it's just become this cute thing where they write each other notes on this same battered piece of paper from 1975. They're starting to run out of room. They said they're only just now starting to run out of room on the inside of the card. They said maybe next year we're going to have to move to the back of the card.
This is one of the best holiday traditions I've ever heard in my entire life.
It's just nice and simple and silly, and they hand deliver it to each other too. They don't trust the mail with this precious tradition of theirs.
Right. Wow, I've never heard of anything like this before.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah, how fun is that?
Yeah,
Just like, again, it doesn't seem like a huge thing, but it's the smaller things that really have an enormous impact on who you are in your life and how you live. I almost don't have words for this.
yeah, and especially at a time of year when huge grand gestures and big gifts are so common. And here's this really simple little thing. I'm gonna write whatever rhyme about the year on a piece of paper and send it back to. It's just such a nice thing.
Are there any of you listening that would love to try this with somebody?
Who?
If so, tell me, and tell me who you would really love to do this with. Like, people that come to mind are like my younger sister or my friend Jessica.
That's so cool.
I have not been alive for 43 years yet. 43 years of friendship is like hardcore, man.
That's commitment.
Yeah. Thank you for that good news article. Thank you to
Thank you
everyone.
all for the good news.
Oh, so many things. I had so many other ones this week that I wanted to feature, but we just don't have time. On Twitter and Facebook, you can actually see other people's responses.
Mhm.
So enjoy them, celebrate them, congratulate them. You know, bond with people, love people.
Yeah.
Good people listen to this podcast and are a part of like the Miss Mary Lou YouTube channel in general.
Good people and good things all around you.
Yeah, all around you. So, Jacob, it's your quote turn.
Yes, my quote turn.
What do you have for us today?
I'm going to read you a short poem, a very short poem.
Okay.
Count your garden by the flowers, never by the leaves that fall. Count your days by golden hours, don't remember clouds at all. Count the night by stars, not shadows. Count your life with smiles, not tears. And count your age by friends, not years. Dixie Wilson.
Oh, that's such a good quote. It's like focusing on the light and the love and not by the fear and the darkness.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important reminder. Fear can really take a hold of us sometimes. And it's important not to let it
World you live in
overtake us.
is really so much how you perceive it.
Yeah.
And so much about your outlook.
And that's literally this podcast in a nutshell, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so. All right, my friends. Thank you so much for listening.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah. And I hope that you have a wonderful week.
And we'll see you next Thursday. Bye.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us this week on the PositiviTea podcast. If you'd like to connect with us, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Miss Mary Lou, at
PositiviTea, T-E-A podcast at gmail.com. And we are also on YouTube at the Miss Mary Lou YouTube channel. Wherever you are listening to us, please give us a like, a follow, a share, and leave a nice review. We would appreciate a little bit of positivity in our lives. The logo design is by Hilda Meyer Post. The music is by my co-host Jacob Kahn. I am your co-host, Miss Mary Lou Ryan, and I hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you on Thursday.